Hello, I'm Ignacio Grifol, and I'm here with Renee Michelle. Hello, how are you?
Hi, how are you? How do you do?
I'm fine, thank you so much. And well, I'm gonna to ask, are you okay? Because it was just the date that I asked to you to do the interview, the assault of the Capitol. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm safe and well.
Well, that's the important. Crazy times.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
Well, I want to start with interview one-on-one, and it's your beginnings in the pro wrestling world. What can you tell me about your first memories? What did you decide to become a pro wrestler?
Oh gosh. Well, I didn't grow up as a fan. I did not know anything about professional wrestling. I grew up doing martial arts such as kung fu, taekwondo, muay thai, capoeira, weapons. The kung fu I've done was chori fut and muay thai. I actually wanted to get into stunts, acting and do stunts. But it was funny because I I somehow landed into wrestling, and once you start, you kind of catch the wrestling bug and fall in love with it. And since then I don't regret it at all.
Well, that's pretty fine. Also, I read that you started with a character as a Native American. What can
Yeah.
you tell me? Why did you decide to have this kind of character?
I When did I decide to create it, or when did I decide to stop doing it?
Both of them.
Okay, so I decided to go with it because I guess during the time when I was told, there wasn't that many natives, in professional wrestling. So, of course, because I do have a Native American background and I'm very multiracial, so I wanted to represent that. But as time goes on and the years progress, my husband, he told me, like, look, you used to do modeling, you used to do acting. Why don't you change it and just kind of be yourself, but up it up by 10? So I actually stopped doing the Native American like right after the first Mae Young Classic.
Yes, it's like the usual thing for pro wrestling characters. Be yourself up to 10 or 11, maybe.
Yes, yes.
Well, also, you have a long career in the independent circuit, and you have a lot of success in Maryland Championship Wrestling. You are a four-time champion. What can you tell me about your time in MCW?
Oh wow. So MCW, the owner there is Dan McDevitt. He took me underneath his wing. And my previous trainer, who passed away, unfortunately, because his loss to leukemia, his name was the Bruiser, which is RJ Meyer.
Oh, yes, he passed away last year.
Yes, yes. Unfortunate. Well, I mean, yeah, unfortunately, I still keep in contact with his ex-wife, and I still keep in contact with Dan, but he was such a good guy. He was a very good guy.
Oh, I'm
And
so
I started my first wrestling match. I started was March 29, 2013. And I guess I'm still continuing on for now.
well. I'm so sorry for your loss. I mean, we lost a lot of wrestlers last year.
Yes, we did. We did. Last year and this year was a crazy is a crazy one.
Yes, of course. Also, I want to talk about your time in Japan because you have worked on several tours with Marvelous, maybe?
Yes, yes. So my time in Japan, what was funny is that Chigusa Nagayo, she decided to hold a tryout in Japan. I forgot what year. I think it was like 2014, 2015. I could be wrong. I forgot. My memory's not the greatest. But a lot of guys and girls, they were there for the tryout. And of course, I was also talking with Marvelous and Stardom at the same time. I decided to go with Marvelous because I wanted to learn that old Joshi lifestyle, like living in a dojo in the middle of nowhere on the countryside. So while I actually cut my promo in Japanese. Bear in mind that I took Japanese when I was in college. So I decided to take Japanese as a challenge to myself many years ago because, like when you go off to school or to college, a lot of people either choose French or Spanish or so why don't I just challenge myself with Japanese? Never in a million years I ever thought I ever had to utilize it.
And what can you tell me about the difference between the American style and the Japanese style?
Um well, I mean, there's oh gosh, where can I start? Well, there's definitely a culture differences. There's also like a form of respect. During the time when I was with Marvelous, you're not just only representing yourself, you're representing the company as well. So during my time with Marvelous, it was very family oriented. Like we always, if we were needed to go somewhere, we always go together. We always eat together. We always sleep, sleep, bathe, everything. Everything was together, like one big family. There was no like division, like American girls on one side and Japanese on another side. No, we all were meshed into one.
Yes, a friend of mine, Faith Hayden, also works in Japan, and she told me that it's like a very family feeling.
Yes, which I like it. And then also, I mean, like during the time when I was with Marvelous, like we had curfew. You have a curfew. You're not allowed to drink. You're not allowed to. No, you're not allowed to like drink or smoke. Or men were prohibited. You weren't even allowed to really have a boyfriend. Because it will cause a distraction. So when you're there to work and focus only. And of course, like during the time when I was there, I was really, really skinny. So Chiguza, she made sure I ate and eat a lot so that, when I am wrestling, I'll have weight on me and muscle. So like instead of the smaller you are, the more inclined you're to get hurt. The little bit of like muscle or thicker you are, you're less likely to get hurt.
Well, there's very different style between American. Also,
Yes.
back in the United States, you have wrestled several legends, like for example, Mickey James, Melina. What can you tell me about your times with them?
Oh, I love Mickey. I love Mickey James and I love Melina. Like there's something about Mickey. Like every time I get in the ring with her, I get super nervous and super excited at the same time. Every time I'm in the ring with Melina, like her and I, we always like hit it out of the park and we get like super excited wrestling each other. I learned a lot from the both of them. They're very, very, very kind and good heart.
That's great. Also, I have a question because well, I have a lot of questions. uh,
Yes. Ask me all the questions. Ask me all the questions.
I have the full list. Well, I want to start with your time in WWE. Your first appearance was in the Major Classic, this whole tournament about winning the tournament in honor of Major. What can you tell me about your feelings when they contacted you and you have the big presentation, the big parade, and your first match against Candice LeRae?
Oh, Candice LeRae. Wow. Like wrestling Candice LeRae. I mean, I think she has like 15 years of experience on me. So I was very shocked and surprised that they wanted me to wrestle her. And, me, I was only like maybe 4 or 5 years in, So it's like, I'm like, oh, snap, I'm wrestling someone who's like so much experience in me. But it was definitely different compared to like Japanese TV and American TV, like their style and how the way they film and everything. It's very different compared to the two. I had a lot of fun wrestling Candace. She's a lot stronger than she looks. Her hits are a lot stronger than she looks. I give her props on that. And then taking her finisher, like that punished me for sure because that took like the wind out of me. But I hope like in the future that I'll be able to have my revenge and take her on again, but it definitely showed me that I have a lot of training to do and, a lot of studying, especially with like the girls in the industry, because it's like, I mean, there's so many girls, and then there's also so many upcoming girls that are, coming in. So it's hard to like, keep track of it all, but practice makes perfect. So,
Well, that's great because if you have matches with more experienced wrestler, you can learn a lot.
yes.
Well, also, you stay in WDA for a long time because you started a storyline with Drake Maverick around the for the title, the 24/7 title,
Yes, the 24/7 title. Oh gosh.
24/7.
So, yes. So basically a lot of people did not know, like when I came in, I was injured. I was injured for like 6 to 9 months because I tore my ACL, MCL, and middle meniscus. So when they brought me on, I was just learning to like kind of like get my strength back up on my left knee with heels and everything. So then yeah, they did R-Truth, did ruin my wedding. That was actually like my wedding day. Like we've been married since 2017, but he has family over in England. I have family all over the place. I have family in Miami. I have family like DC, like all over. So it was just so hard to like get everyone all into one. So when we finally did, I was contacted 2 days prior to the wedding, but I thought it was going to be something like maybe like a filming, like Sarah Logan and her guy, like a documentary, something like that. I did not know the amount of what was going to happen, and honestly I didn't even see R-Truth. I did not know where he came out of. He just came out of nowhere. So like my poor grandma, my grandma, she's like 85 years old. That poor lady. I'm surprised she hasn't have a heart attack, but the looks can kill. The looks can kill. But other than that, I mean, it was just, yeah, my husband, he pulled me all over the place and he was just completely obsessed with the 24/7. We still haven't gone on our honeymoon. Yeah.
Yes,
We still haven't gone on our honeymoon. I'm still waiting for it. And then pandemic hits. And then I'm like,
well, shit happens, and people say. Also, you started the storyline as the angry wife that, oh my god, my husband is playing with the title, but suddenly you started to support him and you tried to win the title too. Why did it happen? Because I swear, I hope you will win the title sometime.
you know what? I don't know. It did cross my mind. I'm like, maybe if I pin him, then I could finally have my finally have my, you know, my honeymoon and everything else. But unfortunately, like things change. I'm hoping like maybe if he did win and if he could just shut up for once, or we could finally consummate our marriage, then it'll be like a better happy ending for me. But no, it didn't.
Sorry. What do you think about usually pro wrestler? They mix a lot of their real life with their storylines. You mix the wedding night. What can you tell me about this? For example, Maria Kanellis, you see their pregnancy as a storyline with her husband, Mike Kanellis.
I mean, I think it's awesome. I think it's pretty awesome. Like Maria, she's always been like a sweetheart, But at the same time, I feel like I should have won the title. I just haven't had an opportunity. But if the opportunity ever presents itself, I'll take it.
That's great. Also, the sad part of the pandemic is that WWE had a lot of budget cuts, and Drake Maverick
Yes.
left the promotion. Uh, What can you tell me about this time? Because he made a video and he was very, very touched.
Yes, it was very heartbreaking. Like a lot of people, some people probably think it was a work. Some people probably think it was, truly him. But honestly, he did get let go. And due to what's going on in the world and the pandemic, yes, there have to be some cuts, and he was one of them. And when he did make that promo, he had no idea that others were being cut during the time when he made it. So I feel like it was a good time that, it was a good opportunity that while everything was hot during that time, that he made that promo. But he was genuinely himself. He was genuinely, heartfelt. And also on top of that, he was supposed to do that tournament too. So, when he did that promo and put that out there, I did notice there were a few people that go like, oh, like, he, that was selfish of him to even put that out there to try to utilize real life, people real life, when they're also being let go of this, that. But guess what? He was really let go. Either that you could ride on the wave and put yourself out there, or be quiet and you'll be a forgotten, you know, a forgotten individual. He made something of himself, because let's just be honest, like, if he if he wasn't to be signed back to WWE, I have no problem moving to England with him. I'm adaptable. I lived in Japan, I lived in other places. So I'm adaptable. I was part of me who actually wanted to go to England, like, so there's that situation. But you know, so WWE, they asked him, like, look, like, we understand that you were supposed to do this tournament, even though you were let go. If you want to still do the tournament, it's totally up to you. If not, we understand. So my husband took the opportunity when it presented itself to continue on with this tournament. And just when, I guess, because his promo caused such a attention and everything, they're like, you know what? Why don't we just film this as his journey, about this, and see how it turns out. So honestly, he didn't even know that he was going to be re-signed.
Well, luckily he will come back to WWE.
Yes.
Yes, well, I'm really happy because he had a very good promo, or, well, not promo because it was a real video. It was very touching, and I'm happy that
Yes.
he came back.
Yes, I'm very happy for him too. He's happy. He's with his friends and his colleagues that he could be with. So if he's happy, I'm happy. What a wife is supposed to be, a supporting wife, right?
Yes. Well, back to you. You, after the tournament and the 24/7 title, you came back to the independent scene. Uh,
Yeah.
I have a question because you have wrestled several times Tessa Blanchard, and,
Mm.
well, back in January, well, she had a problem because people say that she said wrestling slur against La Rosa Negra. I think you wrestled her recently.
La Rosa Negra? Yes, I did. I love her.
Yes. And, well, other wrestlers say that Blanchard was a bully. And what can you tell me about your personal experience with her?
I would say that she works hard and she's a good wrestler, and that's all I would say.
Also, it was another movement last year, the speaking out movement, where a lot of female wrestlers came out and shared their experience. And, well, a lot of wrestlers in the British scene fell down. What can you tell me about the speaking out movement?
Oh, the speaking, oh my goodness. I honestly, I didn't even know where to start when all of it came about. But I wish, when I would, oh God, it's a lot, because it's like you're on your Twitter, and then next thing you know, you're like, boom, and I was like, what is going on? Like, it's very, in a sense, I'm glad that some women, have spoken out. And for those who didn't want to speak out, they have every right, is their comfort level if they want to speak out about a certain matter. And if they so choose to speak out a certain matter, I don't think anybody should be pushed or being forced to speak out. It's only when they feel like they have a good support system or if they feel comfortable. So for those who have spoken out, it did wear awareness. I'm really glad because now women, they could form a certain amount of like looking out for each other and protection. And, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's like in the world of entertainment, you hear stuff like this all the time. But then when it kind of hits, like when you find out that it's like people that either are friends or people that are, that you work with closely, you're like bewildered. And then, then the individuals who are the offender, you're kind of like speechless. It's like a whirlwind of emotions. I'm still shocked as of today. And it was so many stories, so much that I had to shut the laptop because I'm like, I need to digest all of this. Like, how did this happen? Where did this came about? Are you sure this is with these stories? There's three sides to every story. There's his, hers, and there's somewhere the truth. And eventually, assholes get find out at the end, and the truth eventually comes to light. There's like some stories that, an individual was bitter because let's just say for a prime example, because the guy didn't choose her. So then she'll probably say like, oh, I was sexually harassed. I'm like, really? or the individual who was sexually harassed, then their stories get kind of cover up because over, you see. So it's like for those who really were, in true situations, those should shine a light versus someone who was a side chick, a side guy, or you know a brother undercover. Like, I just feel like the ones who are true victims should be brought to light versus a he said, she said, and then, not knowing of the situation. At the end of the day, it's like, where was the police in all of this? Why is this not being spoken? I understand that. Okay. I understand they're afraid of being blackballed, and it's really, really, it's a male dominant society. So it's just really hard. But now I hope that women and women wrestlers, and I'm glad that they did take a stand, and I hope they develop a community of female workers looking out for one another. And unfortunately, there's also like particular people that are in power, you know and these stuff like this needs to be brought to light to be talked about, instead of being swept underneath the rug, because I'm pretty sure guys get this too, as well as women. Sorry, I'm joking, because it's like this subject is like, whoo, like,
Yes. Also, pro wrestler Lufisto during the speaking out movement asked, please don't use the speaking out movement for personal revenge. I mean, you can say.
Yes.
So, what do you think about this? Because she said that please don't use the speaking out for revenge against people that you don't like. Use for real problem.
Yes, I absolutely agree. For personal vendetta, or because you were mad because he or she didn't pick you at the end, or whatever the case may be, this movement is to be used by true victims.
Yes. Well, we're gonna speak about happier things now.
Mm.
Well, After the COVID, I have seen that you didn't wrestle for a whole year. You say that you prefer to stay at home in another interview. Recently, you appear again. And what can you tell me about the state of the independent circuit right now?
It's still kind of slow. I'm still cautious. It's not like I'm like wrestling every weekend or whatever like I normally do. I'm still being picky, where and who because like I have family members that are elderly. It's like if I have a weak immune system. It's like if I was to get sick, who knows what happened to me. If I was to get my mother sick, she's a lot older. It's not like, or my grandfather or my grandmother or my father or my stepfather. It's like, or if I have family members that have infants, or it's just like, don't, it's just like, I don't want, I understand that people have to make a living. I get it. But if you do have it, don't be selfish to give it to somebody else because you don't know their health condition. Like, don't be that person, or don't be like, oh, because, I understand that everyone has their opinion on like wearing a mask, not wearing a mask. That's totally fine. But if you're not going to wear one and follow the rules and protocol, and you were to catch it and then you were to give it to someone else, I think that's very selfish because you want to go out, or you want to go to a bar, or you want to be in the most populated situation, area, or be out with your friends. It's like you're selfish. You're being really selfish because not only that you can't make work because you got it. Now I can't make work and money and pay bills because I got it from you.
Yes. Well, you you return to the wrestling business was during the knockout tag team tournament. You made
Yes.
a team with Killer Kelly against Jordan Grace and Jazz. What can you tell me about this match? Because you start ring with a legend like Jazz.
Oh my gosh, being in the ring with Jazz, I was like, I was surprised, and I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And I was like, it's Jazz. Like, of all the individuals you're gonna surprise me with, Jazz. And yeah, she's strong. She's been around for a very long time. She did mess up my face and my makeup. I did have like a bruise across my nose. It's pretty face of mine. I thought it was rude, but I'll give her props.
Yes, no, I interviewed her 2 years ago, and she was a, a girl with a lot of personality.
Yes, yeah, she definitely has a lot of personality because how the way she looked at me in that ring, I had no idea what I was getting myself into.
Also, you have wrestled 2 more matches. For example, the last one was against Taya. There is any plan to continue wrestling for Impact Wrestling?
Well, like I tell every interviewer, you never know where I might be at because I don't know.
And this Sunday, we have the finals. Havoc and Neve against Kira Hogan and Tasha Steele. What's your prediction?
Oh, well, I did recently wrestle Tasha Steele, so she has a lot of fire, and so does Kira. So does Kira. So it would not surprise me, but I guess you have to find out and watch and wait and see.
Nice. We'll stay tuned to Impact Wrestling then. Well,
Yeah.
we are in the end of the interview. Uh, there is some plans for you for this year. I don't know, maybe working with more independents, travel back to Japan, or what's your plan? Maybe go to England or something.
Yes, I have been to England, but it wasn't for wrestling. It was actually, because of my husband, and visiting family and whatnot. But I currently right now train over at Flatbacks, which is owned by Tyler Breeze and Sean Spears. So I definitely have to like due to COVID, I'm a bit rusty. I'm a perfectionist, okay? If I feel like I'm rusty and other people go like, "Oh no, you're fine," I'm like, "No, I'm rusty," but I'm a perfectionist. But other than that, like this whole year, I actually had the idea of like the look that I have now. I just wanted to wait for a perfect time to present it out, and over at Impact, I felt like it was a perfect time to present the new me.
Ah, that's nice. Also, well, do you want to wrestler here in Spain?
Huh?
Do you would you like to wrestler here in Spain?
Would I like to wrestle in Spain? Absolutely. I
Well,
would like to wrestle all over the world. I would like to wrestle in Spain. I would like to wrestle in England. I would like to wrestle in Korea. I mean, there's wrestling now in China. So I would like to travel all over the world.
well,
It's like I have a checklist of every country or continent I want to go to.
that's great. Well, thank you so much for your time. It has been a pleasure to talk with you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No, don't worry. I mean, it has been my pleasure. When do
And
you
if you have any more questions you want to ask me, let me know. Okay. Hola, Solowrestling. Yo soy Renee Michelle. Thank you for having me. Looking forward to hearing from you all.